many tourists come to Japan. A lot of studios wants to get more bilingual yoga teacher.
Hi, and welcome to the English Yoga Podcast, where we talk about all things related to English and yoga. So this is the first in the series, and we'll be talking with Tina, who is one of my good yoga friends, who is also a bilingual yoga teacher. So let's welcome Tina. Hi, Tina. So today, let's have a chat with Tina about teaching yoga in English. So Tina and I have worked together doing a couple of different things. One of the main things we've done together is the 108 sun salutations in English. And Tina can speak English and Japanese. Can you speak any other languages?
Yeah, Japanese and English. I'm a full-time yoga teacher, and now for almost 5 years. And I teach in several studios in Kyoto. And also I have a YouTube channel and also Patreon channel. But these days I update Patreon channel more than a YouTube channel.
Can you tell us a bit about your yoga journey and how you became a yoga instructor, please?
Okay, my first yoga experience was when I was around 26, but it was really just hang out with my friends. Yeah, it's quite, yeah, but then when I was 30, I had serious health issues.
Right.
And I read that yoga could have many health benefits. So I started to take yoga seriously. I went to regular classes and then some intensive classes. Yes, like a 33 hours training first.
Yeah.
Yes. And then 200 and 300 hours training. Yeah, we were talking about that, right? Some years ago. And also I started to teaching.
Okay, cool. So, like when you first started, it was more about you were doing it together with your friends, right?
Yes.
That sounds a nice experience to do, is to do it with your friends. Do you
Yes.
still do it with your friends?
I think she doesn't yoga now.
Okay.
But back then she is more serious than me.
Wow. Okay, so it's like switched.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, nice. 33 hours, 200, and then 300 hours. So the first 33, I guess you did that in Japan?
Yes, 33 hours is offered by the hot yoga studio.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
Japan.
guess your first step was to just do the 33, and was it to see how it goes, or
Exactly.
like when you did the first 33, did you want to be like, before doing that, were you thinking, I want to be a yoga teacher?
Yeah, actually 33 hours. I just want to learn more yoga. What is the yoga?
Okay.
Yeah, I thought, I'm gonna do yoga whole life, definitely.
Yeah.
And then I calculate if I go to yoga studio every month, how much I need it to the end of life. That's
Okay.
huge amount of the money. So I thought, okay, I should do yoga myself. That's why, yeah, I learned yoga. First of all, 33 hours. So I didn't have any ideas of to be the yoga teacher.
Okay.
Mm.
And then I guess when you did after finishing the 33, you were like, you want to do more, right? And when you did your 200, where did you do that? Did you do it in Japan or overseas, or?
Good. Yeah, 200 hours. That was during COVID. Take that online. And yeah, but my teacher is the Japanese, but she is living in Hawaii.
Hawaii, nice.
Yes, yes. So her style was Ashtanga yoga, which is
Okay.
quite traditional yoga style.
Yeah.
So she was very good teacher for me.
Mm,
Mhm.
nice. And then after that, you did your 300,
Yes,
and you did that in India, right?
yes, exactly. Yeah, I went to India and also I learned yoga 300 hours in English. So
Wow.
these are about 35 countries.
Yeah.
So that's completely all in English and no Japanese. There is just only me.
Okay, right. How did you find it? So, did you do any studying abroad or anything like you studied English somewhere? Or...
Yes, well, how can I say? When I was high school student, I went to study abroad to the
Mm.
England.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, well, that was for 7 months. And back then, but I already almost I could speak English.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, so before that, I haven't go to the abroad, like to
Ah,
study.
yeah.
Just I went to ECC to learn to learn English.
Nice, nice, nice. So when you were at high school, you went and studied in England for 7 months, and then after that, you came back to Japan and just kind of kept your English level while living here in Japan, right?
Yeah, just only that.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Thank you.
So when you went to India to do your 300 and it was all in English, how was it?
That was, how can I say? Yeah, so some teachers, of course, from India.
Mhm.
India's English is quite tough for me.
Right. I
Yes,
think
very tough for me to
e-
understand.
even for native English speakers like from the UK or like from the US or
Mhm.
Australia, the Indian accent, if you're not used to it, it's a bit difficult to pick up what they're saying. So I think as like a English learner or a non-native speaker, I think it can be even more difficult trying to pick up what they're saying because you're maybe used to just listening. I think in Japan it's common to have American English, and then you went to England, so you can obviously used to some of the British pronunciation. But then listening to the Indian one, it's probably like,
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that's the teacher. He is also the philosophy teacher. So yeah, words are also difficult and
right.
listening very difficult. So yeah, I almost couldn't, understand it. But yeah, I really enjoyed. Yeah, and I asked to my native English speaker what he's saying. Yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
that's nice. I think when you're on your teacher training, like your class, you kind of make like a group, like a bond, a very good connection because usually you're there all together, right? Doing the same classes. And it's nice to have that bit of support from someone
Yeah.
because I remember like when I went to India to study yoga too, we had philosophy.
Mhm.
And I think it's even if it's in your native language, the topics are very deep and it's sometimes difficult to understand.
Yeah.
So I think doing it in your second language is like even more challenging.
Exactly. Yes.
Right. Okay. So, do you currently teach like bilingual classes
Mhm.
or do you kind of just stick to one language?
Yeah. Now I'm teaching almost bilingual class.
Ah.
Yeah. So
So how do you think teaching yoga in two language enhances the experience for your students?
well, student. Yeah, that is quite interesting. Wow. Like two languages. So always I'm teaching Japanese and English
Hmm?
and English, but I, f- yeah, but I feel the cueing in English, instructions in English is more good, better tempo and clear than
Ah.
Japanese language.
Ah. Why do you think that?
So in Japanese, we're gonna say 腕を上げて like that, right? But
Yeah.
in English, arms up. That's it. You know,
Right. Right.
so really easy to focus and
Yeah.
tempo, arms up and down. That's it. But
Right.
like soft, like how can I say?
Yes. Yes. So I understand what you're saying. So I know it reminds me of something actually. Like I think so when I lived in the UK, I
Mhm.
used to watch NHK World. So it talked about obviously things in Japan, but obviously the program and the channel was all in English. And there was a music program.
Yes.
And I remember one time they talked about like why Japanese sounds a lot nicer, like why it sounds better on the ears, it sounds a bit more softer. It's because in if you write like Japanese in alphabet, like in Romaji, it's in English, it's a consonant and then a vowel. So usually the sound of the words sound a bit more softer
Yes.
compared to like other languages like English, where it's the consonant sounds and then the vowel sounds, the vowels which is A, E, I, O, U, kind of mixed together. So sometimes it can sound, I don't want to say like harsh or rough, but yeah. I think English can sound a bit more softer and sometimes like it sounds a bit like it sounds nicer on the ears. But yeah, I think like you said, the cueing and the instructions, it's like there are some things like we can say in English, which is
Mhm.
really simple, like arms up. And then when you say it in Japanese, it's a bit longer, right?
Yeah, and also Japanese has keigo sometimes.
It,
So sometimes 腕を上げて is a bit sharp.
yeah,
Bit, yes.
yeah, it sounds
Okay, right?
right, right. Yeah, so there's obviously the difference in the language, right? In Japanese, you have like have keigo for like more polite language, whereas in English, we don't really have that as such. Like we do have some ways to make things sound polite, but I think we wouldn't really use them when teaching a yoga class,
Mhm.
right? Hmm. So what are the advantages of teaching yoga bilingually? And how do you adapt your teaching style for each language group?
Okay. I think that students can improve their language skill listening to the two languages. And of course, they can meet people from the different cultures.
Right. And how about for you? How is teaching, like when you do teach a bilingual class, how is it for you?
How's it for me?
Like, is there anything which you find is anything you like doing, anything maybe you don't like as much, or if there's like anything you feel like differently after teaching like an all English class or an all Japanese class compared to a bilingual?
Ah, yes. Well, I enjoying the bilingual
Mhm.
class, of course. Yes, I could do more focus, and I'm enjoying to see the um, foreigners, foreigners thinking and what their behavior. Yes, because they know what they want to do. Like, how can I say? So one thing I noticed is that quite interesting thing to teach at the bilingual class.
Mhm.
So like Japanese students are often just following the instruction, but other students, foreigner students, tends to be more free. Yeah, so may go outside of the instruction, but they often know what they want to do
Right.
more than Japanese.
Right.
I
I
really
think,
love to see that.
right.
Really?
I guess, yeah. I think it's like a cultural thing too, right? I feel Japanese people tend to, they want to be this, like, not the same as everyone else, but like be unified. Whereas maybe in some English speaking countries like in the UK or in the US, it's sometimes to be a bit more free and kind of know what you want, right?
Yes.
Okay. Nice. And okay. Do you have any tips that you want to share for students who may be new to doing yoga in English or bilingually? And yeah, I think
Yeah. Start with a bilingual class anyway.
right.
And if they want to more monolingual class.
Right.
Yeah, so maybe I recommend to start to like a bilingual class.
Right. I think it's a good first step, right? To if you do a bilingual class, it's both languages.
Mm.
So you can, for example, if you're a Japanese speaker, you have the Japanese, so you can check the understanding, and then you have the English where you can just listen to. And if there's something you don't understand, you have the Japanese to like support, right?
Yes, exactly. So sometimes the studio travelers come to
Ah, yeah,
the studio. Yeah, so they don't know mostly Japanese, but
right,
the class they definitely remember inhale is sutte, exhale is haite. So they really learn Japanese
right.
many times in the class. Inhale, exhale, sutte. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Oh, right. I guess, yeah, it's you would be getting a lot of like tourists and people visiting Japan, right?
Yes, especially Kyoto, so much. Yes, tourists
Right.
now.
I think especially since I think after Corona or COVID, after that finished, obviously more tourists have come in, and I think it's getting, especially now with the yen is very weak.
Yeah, exactly.
So for tourists, it's they can get a lot more with their money, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
So it's gonna ask like about, have you noticed any cultural difference between the students? So I know you mentioned about like Japanese students are kind of they stick to what they do, and sometimes the foreign students will kind of be a bit more free. Have
mhm.
you noticed any other cultural kind of differences between the students?
Like that's quite a specific thing though. That's the mantra, take the mantra Om is longer. But for some
Oh.
reason foreign is quite short.
Okay.
Really specific.
Oh wow. I wonder why it's a lot shorter.
Mhm.
I wonder if it's some, for example, obviously in Japan, there's some cultural, like religious, like Buddhism, Shintoism, where like kind of, I think, is it Buddhism where they kind of do like mantras,
Mhm.
right?
Yes, also they said Buddhism.
Mhm.
Yeah, monks, I asked.
Wow. I wonder why they are shorter. Very interesting. Okay. So could you talk about your teaching philosophy or approach to yoga practice?
I'm teaching a class. I include not only physical side of yoga,
Mm.
but also some of the mind part of yoga. So I follow the traditional approach to yoga. That's also how I teach it. No,
Mm.
approach to yoga. Yeah.
Nice. So I know you mentioned before that the your 200
Yes.
hours, that was that Ashtanga?
Yeah, Ashtanga yoga.
So do you mainly teach Ashtanga yoga or not so much?
No, not at all now.
Okay.
Yeah, quite. That's as you may know, that's really hard.
Yes.
Yeah. So now I'm teaching Ghosh yoga. That is a
Ah,
classic 26 to plus. Maybe it's quite well known as the Bikram yoga.
yeah.
And so hybrid with the Ashtanga yoga and Ghosh yoga's hybrid.
Oh, nice. Sounds very fun and exciting. What are some of the common misconceptions about yoga that you've encountered with your students? Are there things which your students kind of think this is how yoga should be, or they think this is what they're meant to do in yoga, but that's not actually the case?
One common mistake is that somebody believes that more make them beautiful or give them a perfect shape, like yoga body. Yeah. Yoga is especially about accepting and working with your body to achieve better well-being.
I think that's a very good point. I think often I know, like, I get the question too, is like, if I do yoga, will I lose weight? And it's kind of like, yes or no. I'm like, maybe you might do, you might not, right?
Yeah.
Like, we can't really answer that question because it's different for everyone, right?
Exactly. Yes. They should accept, first of all, maybe.
Right. I think accept their body and how they are, right?
Yeah.
So you did your 33 hours, you did your 200 hours, which those are in Japanese. When did you decide that you wanted to do yoga in English?
Good question. Well, yes. So when I took the 200 hours, like that's very traditional way, Ashtanga yoga. So once I took that, I saw any other 200 hours, not so following the traditional, like quite modern yoga they are teaching.
Yeah.
I wanted to learn more to the traditional way of the yoga. So then, yeah, I found a teacher from the New York. And that's why, just no choice to learn, yoga in English.
Right. I think if you do yoga like just in Japanese, it limits you to only Japanese speakers. So you can only learn from them. But if you can do yoga in English, it's broader. You have like more teachers to choose from, right?
Yes, expand our choices.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, tons of teachers in this world. So
Right. And so you said that you found the teacher that was in New York. So obviously they teach it in English. Did you think to yourself, like, at that time, like, oh, I want to teach yoga in English? Or was it just you want to learn more about yoga and doing it in English, it's just more accessible?
yes, good question.
Of course.
I just wanted to learn yoga. I wasn't trying to teach English back then. So it wasn't ambition to teach English back then. But one of the studios asked me if I could do it in English. So from there, I do it often now. So originally, I didn't have that idea.
Okay. So the studio you worked at kind of asked you if you could teach in English. So at that time when you were at that studio, were there many English speakers or like tourists or maybe foreigners who lived in Japan joining the classes at the studio?
Yes, exactly.
Ah.
And also many bilingual teachers as well there. Yes.
So I want to ask you, so how did you feel after teaching your first English yoga class?
First,
So like which did you do first? Did you teach all English first or bilingual? Like your first like class where you used English? Was it all English or bilingual?
back then, first time, that was bilingual.
How did you feel after finishing your first bilingual class?
I felt that's the quite hard to, all the time I am teaching instructions, queuing
Yeah.
all the time.
Right.
Yeah, because Japanese and English take a time, longer time. So no
Right,
time to rest or quiet.
right, right. So I guess if you're doing it bilingually, you have to say the same thing twice.
Exactly. So twice, 2 times a time also.
Right,
Only Japanese, just short
right, right.
break. How can I say quiet time?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I think it's like, for example, when I taught my very first class I did it as a bilingual one too. I feel like it's a bit easier to teach your first class in your second language as bilingual because you can still use your native language. But when I finished, I was just like completely like my mind was blank. It was just so tired.
Yeah, same.
And towards the end of the class, I was saying things and I'm like, did I say that in English or did I say that in Japanese?
Exactly, same. Yes.
Right, right, right. So it was like so the first time I actually did it, I did it on Instagram Live.
Yeah.
So when I finished it, I was just like, oh my God, that was terrible.
Yeah, exactly, same.
Right. But I think in general, like when you even like with yoga or when you teach anything for the first time, I think you're not going to be perfect
Mhm.
because you don't have experience yet. I think it's you keep practicing and you slowly get better.
Yes,
Because,
exactly.
like, for me, it's obviously teaching yoga, but I also teach English. And I remember the very first time for me teaching an English class, I was just like very nervous, very hot and sweaty, dry mouth. And then the same thing when I did my first bilingual yoga class, I was just like, and then forgetting what I was saying, forgetting what was next. So I think the first time is always like the most scary.
Yes.
So, since you started to teach yoga in English and in Japanese, so either like a bilingual class or maybe do you teach all English classes?
Actually, I am also teaching at a hotel yoga. Yeah, so at the hotel, just only tourists from the overseas.
Yeah.
So that occasion, I just teaching only in English.
Okay.
Mm.
So, like, what have you noticed since teaching yoga, like bilingually or all in English? Have you noticed a change? How has that helped you with your English skills?
Yeah, if I teaching in only English, I
Mm.
can tell them more detail. Yes, so, mm, but bilingual, just short. Yeah, that
Right,
happened.
right. I think it's yeah, bilingual. Yeah, I understand. It's like if you want to explain it deeply, you have to then say it twice, so then it takes a long time. And then if it's, for example, they're in a pose, they can be a long time in that pose,
Yeah.
and sometimes it can be a bit like challenging to keep
Yes, exactly.
pose, right?
Only in English, yeah, I can teach, detail, deeply instruct.
So since you've like started to teach yoga in English, have you noticed a difference in your own English skills? Like, do you feel more comfortable speaking English, or do you feel like something has improved, or something has like gotten worse? I hope not, but
Yes, I noticed that like I can queuing in English, like just arms up or something, moving, like
Mm,
arms up or fingers, like fingers together or making the one line. I can tell them, but sometimes I couldn't say in English like more. How can I say like yeah, like more specific things,
mm, right.
specific tips.
Yeah.
A bit hard to teach in English.
Right.
I feel sometimes.
I think teaching yoga in your second language is a big challenge. And I think especially with like in yoga, there are special words that we would only use in a yoga class and we probably wouldn't use in day-to-day life. So it's learning those words that we need to use. And then sometimes it's remembering those words. So when you want to say them, you can, right?
Yeah.
Like I know a few times, like for me, when I've gone to go teach a class in Japanese, I suddenly stop and think, how do you say that in Japanese? It's like sometimes it just like disappears.
Yeah.
But then I kind of remember that even like in your native language, you will forget words sometimes, like it just happens, right? So are there any, sorry. It's the word specific. Okay, I'm going to change the word. Are there any certain yoga related terms or phrases language learners should be familiar with? So, for example, if someone wants to join an English yoga class, are there any words that you think like you need to know this? Like, this is a super important word.
Well, I think inhale, exhale.
Right.
I think so. Inhale, exhale, or I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's it.
Right. I think,
That's the very beginner though.
right.
Yeah.
I think it's something that's in every class, right? And you say it many times. So it's and they are important words to know. Inhale, exhale. Nice.
Inhale, exhale. Yes.
Do you have any recommendations, like for resources or somewhere to go to learn more about maybe practicing yoga in English or even teaching yoga in English?
Yes. Watch videos, play them back, and practice.
Right. I think
That's it.
right. I think the last one's very important. It's practice.
Yes. Just practice maybe every day.
Yeah. So for you, when you did your when you started to teach your bilingual class, how did you go about doing that? Like, what steps did you take to start?
Yes, I'm practicing yoga every day with
Yeah.
watching the videos from my teacher, New York teacher.
Mhm.
So that is always in English.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my purpose is to practice yoga, not
Okay.
learning English. But
Yeah.
while I'm practicing yoga, that's naturally I can get the English words every day.
Right. So, like, when you were getting ready to teach your first class, how did you prepare yourself? Like, did you write down everything in English you wanted to say?
Yes, exactly. I write down on what my teacher say in English, everything. But it didn't work because I couldn't remember,
Right.
all the sentences. Yes, that's really clear to me what is she saying, my teacher saying
Yeah.
in English.
Okay. So you started to teach yoga in English before you did your 300 hours in India, right?
Oh, teaching yoga in English?
Yes.
No, after 300 hours.
Okay.
So in this 2 years,
Okay. So I guess when you're in India, did you have practice to teach a few lessons in English or like a little section of a class?
oh yes, we have that like at the end of the training.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very, very scary.
Right. What advice would you give to your younger yoga teacher self?
Yes, learn to be patient and
Mhm.
tolerant. Yes, and be more positive to the students and encourage them.
Nice. Okay. And do you have anything else you would like to? So I will also ask you about like your, again, I'll ask you about like your, what things you have, like you mentioned about your website, like your YouTube and Patreon.
Yeah, Patreon. Yeah, yoga anytime. Yeah, I think to teach yoga in English is definitely should be more very strong point for them, for the yoga teacher, because now many tourists come to Japan. So a lot of studios wants to get more bilingual yoga teacher. Yeah, so now lack of the bilingual yoga teacher in Japan. So once you got the teaching English skill, you can get more work.
Right.
Get more work, yoga work, because only Japanese yoga teacher that is completely now too much.
Right.
Yes, that is. So once you get the yoga in English, that's definitely get more expand. What are the
Okay. I think that's some very important and nice advice for people who want to, maybe if they're thinking, should I start teaching yoga in English? I think it's some good advice to kind of push themselves, to challenge themselves, to start on their journey to teach yoga in English. Right. And do you have, since you've started to teach yoga in English, is there anything you've felt different about yourself? Have you felt yourself like, is there a change?
Yes, I'm more confident. Definitely.
Right. So do you feel like more confident in your English level or teaching yoga in general or teaching yoga in English? What do you feel more confident? Or like just your daily life, you just feel more confident? What?
Like everything. So like also teaching yoga skill, English skill, and also communication skill as well. And more expand the world
Right.
in our world.
Yeah. Would you ever think to yourself that you want to go teach overseas, or would you like to do that one day, or would you rather just teach in Japan to maybe tourists or people who live here?
That interesting question. Yeah, if I have a opportunity, maybe I want to try to teach the yoga in English abroad if I have an opportunity.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to share or talk about before we talk about your like services?
Uh-huh.
Do you have any stories or anything you would like to share, or?
Yeah, I really enjoy it.
Thank you. Okay, so could you tell us a little bit more about what things you offer? So for example, if someone wanted to work with you, like what they could do or what things you offer to people?
That's once every week I am sending.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and also Patreon, which is you can watch the yoga video. I'm teaching traditionally also.
Okay. So when with the Patreon,
Patreon, yeah, that's
what sort of things do you have on there?
so there is a yoga video like asana posture and also meditation, like chakra meditation.
Okay. So are those videos in which languages are they in?
That is Japanese.
Japanese. Okay. Do you think you would ever start to do any bilingual or English videos?
Yeah, if someone wants to watch that, I want to make it. Yes.
Okay.
But maybe Mike Sensei better to.
I think it's like we all have different, what's the word? Like we're all different. We all have our good points and bad points. So I think it's, for example, sometimes it's like if someone is practicing yoga in English, I think it's also good to listen to native speakers and non-native speakers, because if your second language is English, so maybe it's not your native language, watching someone who teaches yoga, for example, like you, in their second language is I feel like a bit more inspiring, to be like, oh, if Tina can do it, I can do it too one day. Rather than like watching me being like, oh wow, Mike is teaching yoga in English. So I think it's always good to learn from native, non-native speakers. Because I think sometimes also with with like non-native speakers, so people who English is their second language, there are things that you learn that you only learn when it's your second language. Whereas some things I'm sure maybe you've had some foreign students might have asked you something about Japanese. And sometimes it's, for our native language, we know this is the rule, but we don't know why. And it can be difficult to try to explain it. Whereas someone who's learnt that language as their second language, sometimes they know the rule and they know why. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if someone wanted to join your mail magazine or Patreon, do you have like a website or a link somewhere that we can send them?
Yes. So maybe maybe easy to access from the Instagram, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, from the top page.
Okay.
There is
So I guess in the description for this video, I'll put a link to
yes.
your Instagram account. So then if someone wants to check out your account and what you do, they can click there and they can then work with you.
Yes.
Nice. Okay. So if you have any questions, you can always pop them in the comments, or you can send us a direct message. You can do that on Instagram. You can either send it to Tina, or you can either send a message to me, and we'll love to help you out when teaching yoga in English or just teaching yoga in general, right? Okay. So thank you so much for taking time to do this chat about teaching yoga bilingually and in English. So thank you so much, Tina, and we love to work with you again soon.
You
Okay,
so
thank you. So if you enjoyed watching this English yoga podcast or listening to it, please click the thumbs up button. And if you want to make English yoga a habit, please subscribe to my channel so it helps to support me, so then I can help to support you on your English yoga journey. And if you want to watch some more episodes of the English Yoga Podcast, check out this playlist right here. If not, do you want to learn some English used in yoga? Check out this video right here. So see you in the next one.